Welcome back to Solo Spotlight. I'm your host, Ryan McDougall, and today we're pulling back the curtain on captions, the ones on live TV and the ones that eventually become a court record. There isn't a magic button for this. There's a human sprinting at 225 words per minute so the rest of us don't miss the plot. My next guest, Elise Eichmiller, courtroom reporter and live news captioner. We break down how live captions actually happen, why humans are the gold standard when audio drops or people talk over each other, and how readbacks and daily copy keep trials honest. We also talk about Nate's court reporting and captioning program and why strong training pipelines matter for accuracy and accessibility, and what's at stake when programs like this aren't supported. If you care about fairness, inclusion, and getting the words right, this is your episode. So let's jump into it. My guest, Elise Eichmiller.
Okay, that's good.
Welcome, everybody. Elise Eichmiller. Welcome. Thank you for coming out to episode 49 of Solo Spotlight. You are a hardworking courtroom captioner as well as an advocate for getting people trained in this profession, as well as a self-proclaimed bookworm.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Appreciate you having me. For someone that's just meeting you for the first time, how would you describe yourself?
Oh, I'm pretty open.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fairly filterless, depending on the atmosphere that I'm in. Like right now, I feel a little bit apprehensive. I am introverted by nature, so talking about myself is not very natural for me. I think that's why I pick reading as a hobby. That's why I'm a court reporter as a profession. I sit and I get to listen to other people's stories, and that brings me joy. I'm assuming that's why you do what you do.
Yeah.
In a podcast situation, you gather people's stories, and I get other people's stories as well. I just like mine a little bit darker, so
yeah,
I lean towards the true crime novels. And criminal court is what I do. And we're, not to change the terminology, I am a captioner because I can do real time, but we're called court reporters or court stenographers in a courtroom.
Stenographers.
Just because if we were to caption and provide real time in a courtroom, they have to pay us extra.
Oh, so it's like a legit, yeah. It's like a money thing.
It's a money thing. It's always a money thing.
Yeah. What got you into this? When did you start exploring this career path?
Okay, so I started out, so I have to go way back.
Sure.
When I was a little kid, I was that argumentative asshole of a child that everyone said would be a lawyer.
Right.
So I had in my head, okay, I'm going to be a lawyer when I grow up. I'm going to be a lawyer when I grow up. I'm going to be a lawyer when I grow up. When I got to university, I thought, okay, I'm going to take business, go into law, make tons of money, and that's going to be my life.
Yeah.
No, I hated it. I hated business. I probably should have switched my minor. I ended up abandoning the whole decision and going into hairdressing. Because it seemed way more fun as an 18-year-old. So I did do business, but I ended up being a hairdresser. When I was a hairdresser, I had a client. Her name's Lorianne. Hi, Lorianne. She's a massage therapist. She was a wonderful massage therapist. And we were exchanging services. So I was doing her hair. She was giving me massages. And we were talking one day about how both of our professions are very hard on the body, like shoulders, back, everything, just physically very demanding. And that it takes up a lot of, your evenings, weekends, when you're in that service industry, you have to be available when people are available. And we were getting kind of tired of that schedule. And I had a young child at the time, and she was telling me about a client that she had that was a court reporter. And she's a single mom. Her schedule is super flexible. She makes great money. And, she works the days that she wants, and the days that she's not doing questionings or court, she works from home. I'm like, that sounds fantastic. So I started looking into it, and Lorianne was also looking into it. She had been looking into it longer than I had. I ended up sending the head of the department an email, just looking for information. He said, he sent me an email back and said, well, why don't you come in for, they call it, not a buddy day, but you go and you shadow a student.
Yeah.
For
like a ride along.
Yeah, exactly. Just to see what the class is about. So I did that, And I believe I was put on a waiting list. So this was 2006. I thought, no problem. I just did it. Just
Right.
for shits and giggles.
Yeah.
Pardon me, are we allowed
No,
to
yeah,
swear?
yeah. Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm like, okay, good. Just for shits and giggles. And so, and I was getting married that year, that September. And so, I think it was about a month, not even, probably less than that, of the actual start date for that intake for September. I get an email saying, hey, we have an opening. If you're interested, you can take it. And without even thinking, I may have been on the phone. This was a long time ago. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll take it. Sounds fun. So I was entered into the program, enrolled into the program, and I thought, oh, wait a minute. 1, I'm getting married. 2, I'm paying for a wedding. And 3, it's like exactly the same time as my wedding. So that's how I got into it. So I started the program, took the Friday off, got married on a Saturday, and went right back into the program. And then 2.5 years later, I'm a court reporter.
Wow.
And here we are.
Did you find that, did you have much experience beforehand? Like when you look at how much you, how much you read, was that the same when you were in university and hair school or being a hairdresser? Or did you find that kind of came out when you started doing
I was up until about university. And I had to read a lot of textbooks. And it coincided with me turning 18 and being able to go to bars and stuff. So the reading kind of
downhill
dropped off.
Yeah.
And then it's a habit, right? So you pick up a book and you read, it becomes a habit. And that habit just fell off.
Right.
And so I lived my life, was a hairdresser, talked to people all day long, or people talked to me all day long, sort of along the same lines. Probably why I became a court reporter.
Right.
Was why I was a hairdresser.
Right.
And then it was during COVID, really, because I had been reading, but not as much as I used to, and not as much as I do now. It was during COVID when there was nothing to do, and everyone was stuck.
Right.
And I picked up reading again. I'm like, I love reading. Don't know why I quit. I'm gonna hold myself accountable and read as much as I can. And so I started up that Instagram account just to keep myself accountable. Never thinking in a million years there's like a whole community out there called Bookstagram.
Right.
Before Book Talk, there was Bookstagram.
Right.
So that's how I got back into it.
Do you think the engagement on like social media, because you said it holds you accountable, but do you think that like also makes it like more enjoyable to like share ideas and talk about different books and like gain more like recommendations and resources and stuff like that? It's very interesting because like that's a totally like whole dark side of the social media realm where you're like, it's actually a very good resourceful thing if you use it for the right thing. So yeah, you're in these programs, so you're in university, you do hairdressing, and you start to enjoy this like learning about people's stories. What about like the logistical side of learning? What were some early things that you like that were a shock to you in the program, or some things that you had to like, was it a routine change? Was it a study change? What kind of things were big shifts for you when you did this program?
It was really a life change because I was 29 or 30 when I started court reporting. So I had already established a whole career for myself as a hairdresser. So it was a career change and a life change. Plus my daughter, I think, was 6 or 7 at the time. I just got married, and it was just a change. Like I hadn't been in school for, I don't know, probably like 10 years. Well, 8 or 10 years at this point, right? So it's just getting back into the routine of getting up early and starting at 8. Hairdressers don't start their day till about 10 o'clock. And, getting the kid ready for daycare and then going to school and then sitting down and with classmates. You have colleagues at work, but classmates are different. And
they're probably a lot younger.
And a lot of them were younger. There's a handful of us that were about the same age. And we're still friends today. In fact, most of my classmates that I had at the time and I are still friends right now.
Very nice.
Because it's such a unique program, it was, I don't want to say cliquey, but it was very niche. Like, we understood it.
Like I think it's one of those things where like the experiences that you're having, it's very hard to explain to like a general public, right? Yes. And it probably, I feel the same way, where I'm sure at some points there's like a catch-all question that people ask, and you're like, this is getting exhausting.
Yeah.
Where you're like,
Yeah.
and now you just have it soldered in your brain of like, when people ask, you're just like, yeah, it's a little this, a little that. And you're like, next question.
Yeah, you don't give too much.
Tell me about your tires. I'd rather hear
Well.
about that. Yeah, but you know what I mean?
Well, it's either a 10-second answer or
It's-
a
it's-
3-hour answer.
And then people are like, man.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you're like, you asked.
Yeah, exactly.
You asked me. Yeah.
telling you.
It's very, very funny. But you also say that it like, I need that amount of time for you to fully understand, right? And I'm sure it comes with a lot of like shocks and ahs, which can definitely get exhausting. But yeah, that's crazy. How was it with like how was that communication with like your, like the inner circle of your family? Was that something that everybody was on board with right away? Or is that something where it took a little bit of like, no, check this out. Look at this. I want to try this.
There wasn't a lot of pushback. I think I had to go to the bank of dad to pay for tuition because we were paying for the wedding.
The wedding, yeah.
And he was just, oh, you're going back to school? Great, here's the money.
Right.
He just wanted me to go back to school. But my dad, I think, still to this day, thinks I'm a reporter on TV. I don't think he quite understands what I do. I think my mom has a better idea, but my dad, I think, still thinks, I'm a court reporter. I'm a reporter on TV. And I haven't had the energy to like bring this over to my parents' house and explain to them what I do. But like, I think they have an idea, but I think they still don't quite understand.
And even if they understood the nature of it, it's like, then you're just peeling back the layers of the onion, where it's like, you still don't even know.
No,
right?
no.
You still probably don't get it.
Oh no, but I work in the courthouse, right? So I
Right.
have lots of sheriff friends.
Right.
And you guys have stories.
Yeah.
You should be on someone's podcast and
Yeah.
talk about your stories. Like the stuff that they tell me, I'm like, okay, I'll just stay on this side of the door. Thanks.
Yeah, the thing about that, and I think a lot of times people are, it's just regulations. I think a lot of times sharing those experiences, you have a hard time because it's such a fine line of like, is this going to get me in trouble?
Exactly.
Right?
Too much
Is this going to
information.
get me in trouble?
I was going to say, sorry, just to along the same vein, is some people, once you tell someone something, they can't unhear it. So you have to be, even though they ask you the question, like I have friends that ask me, oh, so what trial were you sitting on today?
Like,
Sitting on today?
can't
What
tell you.
happened? And I'm like, well, I can tell you, but you can't unhear it. So are you ready? Like, because it's dark.
And I don't
right?
want you to think different of me as a person for saying,
Yeah.
why would you expose yourself to that?
But I don't want to, like, if you're not in the headspace to hear about some of the things that
Yeah.
you've asked me about because you don't know what I hear.
Yeah.
And I tell you, that can really affect you. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes I'll talk to, like I have friends, but I don't know all of their background. And like, if I start talking about, just like in very general terms about like a sex assault case, whatever, I don't, like everything that happens in court, unless it's in a voir dire, is public. But you still want to be gentle, right? With people's stories that they bring to the courtroom, people's testimonies, things like that. So you do want to be gentle with that, and you want to keep that, like, that's, you don't want to expose them. Yes, it's in a public courtroom, but it's very private things that they talk about. So in a very general term, if I'm talking to a friend about, say, what happened to my day, I always have to say, look, I can tell you, but like, are you ready to hear it? Like, are you in a headspace to hear it?
Yeah. Do you actually want to hear it? Because I'll
Yes.
tell you, but like, are you sure?
Yeah.
We don't have to go there.
Because you can talk with your sheriff friends but they understand. So you can have those open conversations. Like, I can have lunch with a court reporter colleague in the cafeteria in the courtrum, and we can go, oh my God, well, this happened, and this happened, and like, wow, and we understand. Like, we understand like that. We're still trying to be professional, but it's still very awful things we listen to on a day-to-day basis.
Do you find in this type of world it's hard to detach from your job because the adrenaline, I don't want to say the adrenaline rush, but you find that there's different personalities that go into jobs like this, and whether it's intrigue or excitement, but then you get addicted to like the intrigue and excitement and rush of it. Do you find sometimes it's hard to like escape that?
Yeah. That's absolutely, everything you just said is 100%. So just to link it back to my reading as a child, I went from, so English is my second language. I moved here when I was 7 or 8. So I started grade 2 here. So I learned by reading. So, the Judy Blooms was around my age group in grade 3. And I went right from Judy Bloom to Sweet Valley High, right into Stephen King.
Right. Heavy.
When I discovered Stephen King, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, oh my God, this world is out there. People write about this stuff. This is fascinating. Like the horror, I loved it. And then from there, and you're talking about being addicted to that rush sort of thing. I went from Stephen King to true crime. And that's when my mom was like, maybe we should take you to a psychologist. And I'm
right.
like, no. I'm like, I just like it. I just like it because, hey, Ralph,
relax,
Ralph.
Man. Lay down.
I'm worried. My mom's like, I'm worried about you. I'm like, no. And I'm lying because I like the gore and the dark and the gross and all of that stuff. And I just said, I like the legal part of it. Like what happens to them in the courtroom. And she's like, oh, then that's okay, because clearly she wants to be a lawyer, right?
Yeah.
So that's where it started. And I think that's just continued on in my life. So I started court reporting doing civil matters. So it used to be called discoveries back then. I think it's questionings now. So it's car accidents, civil stuff, like pre-trial things before you go into the actual trial.
So like more lawsuits and stuff like that, like
yes.
Nothing criminal.
Nothing criminal.
Or it could be, like, depending on what it is, they could
I'm just trying to think if this... No, it's civil. It's civil. There's nothing criminal about those proceedings.
It's like a person suing a person.
Yeah.
Or like or an organization against a person.
And they're just gathering information, like before a separation, before a couple, goes all the way and goes to court about, splitting. Childcare, matrimonial property, things like that. They have a questioning. So I did those. And then once and then the structure of how they hire court reporters at the courthouse changed. And the firm that I work for got a contract with the courthouse, and the firm owner, I'm a contractor, so the firm owner just said, hey, do you want to go to court? I'm like, yes, I do. That's exactly why I became a court reporter. I didn't want to do the civil stuff. So then I started down the road of criminal court. Loved it. Then I was pregnant with my second child, and I needed to, so I took the mat leave, but I wanted to work from home because I'm a contractor. I don't have maternity, right? So I went and got into the captioning side, which allows you to work from home. So I captioned...
like Zoom courts and stuff, or no?
No. So they didn't have Zoom court at the time because
we just didn't have
COVID hadn't happened.
Yeah,
so,
we didn't have the technology yet.
No, so we had court reporters in the courtrooms. And I captioned for a captioning firm, and we did so all live news has to be captioned, period. It's the accessibility of information,
right.
I can't remember, the CRTC.
It's like closed captioning.
Yeah, CRTC regulations, like you have to have it captioned. So we did news.
And was that live or was
live.
that live?
Live.
Okay.
So I would hook up to the machine. I would get hooked up to the network like 10 minutes before the show actually started. Sometimes I would do a modem check. That's how core was. They used modems. And I would get the audio feed about 3 seconds before it actually goes out on air, so that it gives my captions time to kind of go back through the system.
Right, there's enough of a time delay that you can actually process it.
Yes, and if I make a mistake, I can quickly change it before it goes out on air.
Oh, that sounds so stressful.
So then
I'm sweating just thinking about it.
It's a bit of an adrenaline rush. If you want to talk about adrenaline rush, like when you just don't breathe for half an hour, you're like, you just write. And, sometimes they can go, like 200, like especially through the weather, they can go, like 280 words a minute.
And what was your setup like? And doing it from home as well, there had to be like some strict, some strict logistics around. Okay, nobody can screw up my vibe. Like everybody has to.
Yep.
Yeah, that must.
Headphones like that, the Bose on.
Yeah.
Noise canceling. You are concentrating on what they're saying.
Yeah.
So the news. It's a little bit different than court. The news. You want to be as verbatim as possible, but your job is to get the information out there. So it's okay if it's not 100% verbatim. The firm that I work for, they want you to be at 98% accurate. But if you really need to get that information out there and the person is really speaking too fast, you ad-lib, I guess, or paraphrase. Not ad-lib, paraphrase. And you just get that information
because it's just too many words.
Exactly. So I do it a lot for the weather because they do go bad really quickly. I try for verbatim, but if it doesn't, then it's just like 23 degrees Edmonton.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
And are these positions like, are these positions like you are asked to do it, or are these like kind of like their job postings where like could someone that's doing this career, could they specifically avoid like criminal trials?
Yep.
Like if they didn't have the threshold to handle that, they could simply just stay on the news side of things.
There's lots of court reporters that don't do court reporting and they don't do captioning. They just do civil.
Okay.
And you can make a really good living just doing the civil side because it's busy.
Right.
It's busy. And now with Zoom, we have Alberta reporters doing questionings from BC.
Right.
Ontario.
Because now you just got to get hooked up.
It's just hooked up, right?
Yeah.
So, and then we have court reporters in Alberta that are certified with certain states. Like I have a friend that is certified with Hawaii.
Okay.
And she's done some, or what do they call it there? Not discoveries, not questionings, depositions.
Depositions,
They do depositions there.
Yeah.
So NAIT grads are coveted everywhere.
Right.
We've had grads go to like all over Canada. One of our instructors did the human rights tribunals in Sierra Leone.
Okay.
We go to The Hague and do national world courts there, and we caption all over.
Do you find there's many people that...
Lots of different avenues you can go to.
So given that this is the only program in North America, what is the available... In Canada.
Yeah, bricks and mortar.
Yeah. So is there a bigger availability for this in the US? Do you find that you're working alongside people that got training from other countries? Or do you find a lot of the people that you're working with were previous NAIT graduates?
We in Alberta are all NAIT grads.
Okay.
Everybody that, simply because you have to be a Canadian citizen or actually an Alberta citizen to work in Alberta courts.
Okay.
Yeah. For me to, say, do a transcript from BC courts, I actually have to get registered and certified by, I think it's the Attorney General in BC. So there are strict rules in terms of transcript production and things like that in Canada. So all of my colleagues are Canadian and all of my colleagues are trained from NAIT. I don't think I know one in Canada, actually.
So when you say you have to be a resident, so essentially say if I was from Manitoba, I would have to come to NAIT, do the course, and then reside back in Manitoba?
You have to reside here.
Oh, to do Alberta, right?
To do Alberta court.
But if I want to do Manitoba courts, would it be the same practice? Provincial to provincial, or some provincials more loosely where they can go across the provincial line?
If you're trained, sorry to cut you off.
No.
So if you're trained in NAIT, you are a certified court reporter. There's a few steps because we have a professional association. You have to be registered and a member in good standing with our professional association to be a court reporter in our courthouse. To do the civil things, you don't have to. It's highly recommended, but you don't have to be certified. But for the courtroom, you absolutely need to be certified with the ASRA, so the Alberta Shorthand Reporters Association.
Right.
Or you can be a member in good standing with our national association, which is based out of the States. It's the National Court Reporters Association.
Okay.
One of the two, but you have to be...
But if you're in Alberta, you have to be with the Canadian one.
But to be a court reporter inside the courthouse in Alberta, you have to be an Alberta resident. In fact, I think there's a rule that, as a firm owner, I think you have to be in Alberta for... Don't take my word for this one, but like a majority of the time. Like you can't be outside of Alberta for like half the year and still own a court reporting firm that sends court reporters to the Alberta courthouse. Right,
you need to have like some boots on the ground.
There's some rules there. I'm not sure exactly what it is. That's the gist of it. So there are rules and regulations, and I think I may be part of the rules of court that govern court reporters.
So you going into like doing captioning for
like for the news and stuff?
No. So you going into like the criminal element of it, was there what was like the emotional changes for you? Was there a difference in like understanding? Was there a level of like additional per se like training that you even just like for yourself? Like was there things where it's like, okay, I'm going to have to be able to like shut some things down in my brain and just focus on the job and not be like emotionally swayed or like pissed off at a certain like ruling or something like that. And how did that journey look for you from going from one kind of sub industry to like another like sub industry within the same thing?
So with the civil things, it was a lot of, everything was very emotionally charged, private, because it was either divorce or you were in a car accident, you couldn't work anymore, or, you know, you suffered a loss of some. It was very personal stories for each individual. That kind of transferred over to the courthouse, except that you were now, it upped it a little bit, right? I think inwardly, I still feel all of those things that you've, I know I feel all of those things that you've mentioned. Outwardly, you have to be like,
yeah,
which was great when we had to wear masks.
Yeah.
So I got really good at it before the masks. Then we had the masks on, and then after the masks came off for COVID, and we went back to the courthouse without the masks, it was practice.
Yeah, to monitor like your outwardly expression to make sure like you're not. And does that carry like a greater effect too? Like, have you ever had instances where like someone has said like, hey, you look like you took like exception to that? Like,
I have, just because I've been working in the courthouse for so long, I know a lot of the lawyers that I work with. It's the same people, the same Crown prosecutors, same defense lawyers I work with, and one who's we've gotten to become friends through the years. Sometimes, and it's not anything serious per se in a courtroom where she'd be saying something and giving a submission, or, you know, and we would make eye contact, and she'd go, oh, no, oh, okay. And then she said, like, she would be saying like, well, this person said this, and that's why this, and I know that person didn't say that, and if you won't need me to read it back, I can, but it'll just be the look on my face, and she'll be like, oh, no, that she didn't say that. Okay, Madam Court Reporter, I'm looking at Madam Court Reporter, and that's not what that person said, so maybe if we can get a read back, please. So then I would go and find the spot and then read it back. She's like, okay, thank you, right? So things like that do happen, but that's because her and I have that established relationship. And it's almost never during testimony where you know, someone's sitting there and we're having this casual kind of back and forth, right? It's never like that. It's kind of not off the record, but not while witnesses are around. Yeah.
Do you think your maturity helped in that, like coming into it at a later age?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I know. Like do you think that the shock and awe of it is almost a disadvantage to someone coming in at an early age?
It's an intimidating field to go into as a young person, I think, because you are working with, like, as soon as you come into school, you're working with lawyers. And even if they're young lawyers, like, lawyers are very, you know, when they're at work, and it's serious, and you're talking about people's lives, and, you know, they're, you know, you're saying that, you know, the people that work in your field is a kind of one breed, and then we're kind of another breed of people. Lawyers are a whole different, but they'll ask you a question, just give them the answer.
Yeah, they don't want sentences.
Anything else, and they don't want, you know, small talk. I find that a lot of the times, until you get them outside of work a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's an intimidating field for a young person to go into, and me being 30 and me being the type of person that I am, I was an asshole when I was a kid. So I'll follow your rules, but you better make it make sense to me.
Right.
That was the student I am. So that kind of carried on as I grew up.
You were still able to advocate for yourself and like ask the right questions.
Yeah. But it's just, even, you know, some lawyers will go like 3 hours straight without a break in a questioning. Kate. And
you're like, come on.
We just need a bio break. Like, but you have to be able to, you know, say that.
Well, and like I was reading, so like I would Google or like use AI and whatever and say like, explain to me like the day-to-day operations, and a lot of the day-to-day operations is like during recess and stuff, you're still working of like going through, making sure that like, and is this more of like, because you said bio, now is this more of like going through and making sure things are like articulated properly or like grammatically correct, or like when you're taking breaks in between, like
I mean a bio break.
So what does that mean?
You have to go to the bathroom.
Oh,
you're
yes.
You're for 3 hours straight. You need to go pee. You need to say something little baby court reporter, or you're going to be sitting there for another 2 hours without a pee break.
Right.
But I'm talking about, like, because we're talking about the intimidating feel of
you just don't even want to ask.
You just don't even want to ask.
Yeah.
So, but you have to. And also for a young person, I think oftentimes they come into this field not knowing bad things happen to people, and not knowing that people do bad things randomly for no reason. I think that's a hard one. And even in car accidents, and even in
DUIs and
matrimonial property and stuff, you like, oh, people get divorced and they fight about their kids, and oh, you gotta pay, you know, like it's a lot of the it's not rainbows and unicorns.
No.
Like, if you want rainbows and unicorns, this is not the field you want to go into, unless you go into the what we call CART providers for the hard of hearing. So what you do is you go with a person who's hard of hearing to, say, their university classes or an appointment or whatever, and you caption for them. Or you go to like a church function, and there's people who are hard of hearing or the elderly, and you caption what is said and it comes up on the big screen and people can just read it. That part's lovely because people love you and they're very appreciative of what you do, and they come and they thank you all the time. It's a nice, it's kind of like the rainbows and unicorn corner.
And then you go to the dark side of the moon.
And then you're in my corner, and it's like...
Well, and as well, I think, like...
It's a little different.
and I'm sure you can agree with this and say, like, at some point you also have to be honest and say the stakes are a lot higher. Where it's like,
yes,
yeah, you're still doing a job, but, like, when you make when people make mistakes like that, it's like you're really like you could be like an anchor in whatever they're trying to do, and it's like where it's very forgiving on this side, you stand out and people are like, yo, figure it out. Like, but it's the same way where it's a very tough like learning curve where you kind of it's less of a learning curve in terms of like it's obviously skill based and technical, but then the other half of it is like the emotional maturity and like being able to regulate yourself, as well as like advocating, like you said, for something as small as bathroom breaks, right? Because you're kind of like you're almost like silenced because you're like scared. You're like, oh, what if I say something? And you're basically running onto a treadmill that's already been going at 10 for years. So it's like nobody knows who you are and everybody's expecting that you're just going to perform.
Yeah, you just have to take up a little space in your workspace. And I think that goes with any work environment. You just have to go in there. Yes, your job is to be quiet and to listen and to, you know, keep the record. But you also have to take up a little space and say, you know, like, I'm here. This is my job. I'm here to help you do your job. Like, let's have like a good professional relationship. Like, I'm not, I'm not your slave, and I'm not your I'm not your
like
personal assistant. Like, I'm here to do a job. You're here to do your job.
There's a working relationship.
Exactly. And so it's hard for, I think, like, we've had students come in to the court reporting program. Ralph's out.
Yeah, perfect.
Come into the court reporting program at 18 or 17 and then graduate when they're, you know, 19, 20, and then having to go into an environment where you're working with sometimes like 3 or 4 senior lawyers in $1 million lawsuits.
There's a lot of stakes.
Scary, right? Yeah. And you're new at your skill, and we would never throw a baby reporter in that situation. But even for a senior reporter going to that situation, if this is a $1 million lawsuit, or it's like a, you know, high publicity murder trial, or we were part of that trial down in Lethbridge, that Coutts border trial, and there's like tons of people in the gallery, and they're having a fight over, well, he said this, no, you can't do that because he didn't say that, and they're like, Madam Court Reporter, can you please read that back? Can you please read his answer?
And if you're just lost in La La Land somewhere, and they're like, hey,
you're like, can you read that back? You better be able to read that back. So there is a lot of pressure.
Is there's people that like in this industry get like barred from certain spots, like where it's like, yo, you screwed up too many times, like you're gonna totally destroy the reputation.
Well, there is always,
or like or remediation. Like, is there certain type of like additional training that someone would have to get sent back to, where it's like, hey, you got to go like get a defensive driving if you want.
No, you just have to practice, and just like there's certain you can go online, or you can go on to all kinds of resources in our professional association website and the national one, where they give you practice material and you listen to it and you can practice. And you do this for, like, when I was captioning, they call it writing when they're typing. They call it writing. So I was writing maybe like 6 hours a day.
Okay.
At like 250 to 280 words a minute. So you just get good by repetition.
So this machine here, explain to me how exactly, like, so it's what is it? It's syllables?
It's syllables.
Syllables.
So so we write phonetically. So if you think of a piano, and it's like playing a chord as opposed to playing each individual note.
And then that, through the algorithm, gets like transcribed into like a word?
Yeah, so there's like a language, like a shorthand language, I think it's the easiest way to put it. So there's the foundation, and then you use that foundation to kind of build your own shorthand language along the way. So everything, so let's say the word cat. The k is your initial syllable, initial sound. Then you have your vowel sound, and then you have your end sound. So instead of having a letter C, instead of typing CAT individually, I would press K, A, and T all at the same time.
Right.
And my program tells me that is cat. Right? And it shows up. Or phrases that come up often, like I don't know, would be one chord.
Oh, so then it would just automatic.
Yeah.
Now, is that programmed by you, or is that a standard across?
It's a theory. So it's a language.
Right.
So you learn your ABCs of the language. You learn your easier words of the language in terms of physical keys. And then you learn the more complex phrases and words. And you have certain vocabulary that you work with in, say, working with the hard of hearing or captioning news and sports.
What about captioning French? Is that a different requirement?
It's the same machine, different language. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So did you now? What
I can't do French.
You can't know? Is that like another sort of? Is that just something that you would have to learn on your own?
That's a different class altogether. First of all, I don't. So if you say a French word, I can press it phonetically. So let's say you say the word. I can't even think of a French word right now.
JM.
J'aime, right?
Yeah.
So I can put the J sound and the long A sound and the M all together. And for me, it comes up as Jamaica.
Oh, I was going to say jam.
Jam would be the same thing, but short A sound.
Oh, so
right?
It'd be longer or shorter.
Yeah. The ah as opposed to the A sound.
Right.
So then I can push JAM and it comes up as jam. But for a French reporter, the J sound, initial sound, long A vowel sound, and the M end sound together programmed in like her language would give her j'aime probably. Right?
And how would you have, like, so you do this course,
Yeah.
and then is it kind of like hairdressing where like the responsibility to get your own equipment is on you?
Yep.
And then you have to bring that.
Yep.
Okay.
So you're a contractor, right?
Right.
When you
So basically you're just hired as. Okay.
Yeah. Some firms will give you like a loan machine.
And if you lose it, you owe them.
Yeah, and then until because it's expensive, like it's not cheap. So going through the program is not cheap, and then getting the machine and the software is not cheap. So this, I bought, 2 years ago. I had to get a new one. This was, I think, almost 7,000 Canadian.
Wow.
And the software when I first bought it, and this was like 17 years ago now, was a couple $1,000s just for the software.
Oh, I was gonna say, is it a one-time fee or is it monthly?
Well, the machine is, you pay for the machine.
Yeah, but the software.
You buy it, but then you have to pay for the updates, right?
Right.
You don't have to, but you should, because it does come with like a whole. It just makes your job easier if you learn how to use some of the updates that the software gives you. Like if I like one of the updates is so for a word, let's say you say a big huge long word that I've never heard of before. I would write it phonetically the way I have it, and I may or may not have it in my dictionary. It may or may not come out, but I know when I look back at it that phonetically this is what you're trying to say. If I write that the same way multiple times, my computer will give me a brief, like a shorter way of writing it. So let's say it's a 5-syllable word, and I keep writing that same 5 syllables. Like my software will say, hey, you keep writing these same 5 syllables.
But you can do it shorter.
You can do it this way. You can use this chord, this chord. It doesn't have a meaning yet in your dictionary. Why don't you try this? Basically is what it's telling you.
Right.
So then you see it, and then you can write that chord, and then it'll translate it to that 5-syllable word. And then you can choose to add it to your dictionary or not.
Okay.
So it's that, like,
But that's an update.
It's been around for a while, but that's one example of what
Right.
the software can do.
Right.
So we're very technology driven. Like, people are always saying, okay, court reporting, that's the old fashioned way. Like, AI is taking over, or
That's what I was
voice
just gonna
recognition. No, we are up and up with
Yeah.
our technology. Like, it's not just a keyboard, and our software is just not. It's not just like a simple translation thing. It's intuitive, but it's very specific and niche to what we do.
Is the pass rate of the like a course or even getting like accredited, is it like do you find like a lot of people just don't hit the standard?
It's very tough. It's a very tough course. So you learn all the theory, and you learn kind of courtroom procedures, and there's a 2-year English course. Like, you have to learn how to punctuate properly and all that stuff, in addition to the physical skill. So you are tested from year 1 you get 4 or 5 tests at first, like 40 words a minute. Then you pass those tests, and then 60 words a minute, 80, all the
And
way
then
up
you move all the way up
to 225. And you have to pass 3 tests at 225 words per minute.
98% accuracy.
95% accuracy. 95%. It used to be 98 when I went to school, but actually no, the 225s were always 95%. 95% accuracy. So what you do is you set up, you put your headphones on, they give you the test, and it's audio test, and it's just somebody dictating material, usually courtroom, at 225 words a minute. So
and now, how
question
fast would
answer.
that actually, like, how fast is 225 words a minute? Like, is that like we're talking now, or is that like exceptionally faster?
So the way your speech pattern is about 200 words a minute.
Okay.
I try to slow down when I speak in a forum like this, but when I talk at my normal speed, which is about like this is about 240, 250 words a minute.
Right.
So when I talk. But it's a sustained 225 words a minute for 5 minutes. That's your test. So it's what they call a Q&A test. So you have 2 speakers, and it's, good morning, Ryan. How are you today? I'm good. Thank you very much. Can you please tell me what you did October 15th, 2024? Yes, I went to the store at, I went to
And then
Weston
it's like
Mall.
a continuation
And it's
of.
like this. And
There's no like pause breaks.
there's no pause, and it's very rhythmic. So 225 words per minute for 5 minutes. You take a deep breath, and I know a lot of students try to hold their breath for 5 minutes. It can't be done. And you go and you write, and at the end you have your everything is translated, and then you make a transcript out of that. So you go back, and you don't get the luxury of listening to it again. You have to go by what you have, and you put in all the commas, fix up all your mistakes, and you hand in this transcript, and then the teacher marks it against the audio. And you have to have 95% accuracy.
Do you find it's hard to use that and then type on a regular keyboard?
Yes, and my spelling sucks. My
Because
spelling was good.
you're probably using 7 fingers to, but now on the other side, do you find that like it could probably enhance your ability to like learn an instrument?
Well, I have a piano background,
Right.
so like
It kind of goes hand in hand.
yeah. So I was a pianist. I've been trained classically. I went through all the levels, and so the dexterity wasn't a problem for me. It was the I think too much. So you don't have time to think.
Think and hear at the same time.
It has to go in your ear and out your fingers, and it's just practice.
Yeah.
It's just practice. But it's the act of listening and physically typing at the same time, and letting the information go. So the information literally goes in, out, and new information comes
Yeah,
in.
you can't be like, oh, I can't believe this chick just said this.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, no,
Yeah.
they're still going.
Yeah, no, you go. I mean, it gets to the point where that becomes very second nature. So now, after 17 years, I do it when it's kind of more the mundane testimony. And a lot of the civil stuff that I do once in a blue moon sometimes makes me do this. So I'm writing, listening, and And another part of my brain, I'm like, okay, so I got to pick up the kid.
Yeah, you're like, what am I going to have for lunch?
3:30 and this is what I need for groceries and blah, 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 blah. But, you know, but you're still like, it's still that.
But it's almost like automatic for you.
Yeah.
Like I would do the, like,
Yeah.
it's the same thing when, say we're working on like a unit or something, there's a fight.
Yeah.
The initial response is like, oh, fuck, oh,
Yeah.
oh. But then you already have like a priority list in your head
The protocol
of like,
right?
okay, yeah, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And you can just see like it, unfortunately,
Yeah.
and it's like, it's almost like sadistic in a way of like, you're not going to learn that unless it happens.
That's exactly what it is.
You know
That's
what I mean?
exactly
And
what
like, you can't really avoid it.
Yeah.
You just have to let it happen.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's like, it's for the best of your experience
Yeah.
to just put those reps in, because if not, when it happens,
Yep.
you're fucked.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know,
Well,
like you're screwed because you have no actual like real world it's
Yes.
easier to do it in theory and then do it in practice where people are shutting doors and doing
Yeah.
this and people are coughing and sneezing and you know, so it's very, very interesting. Do you think that like your way that you communicate to people is different because like you have to kind of stay silent for like long periods of time? Do you find like your methods of communicating might get like hindered or like not necessarily hindered, that's not a good way to say it, but like your ability to just let someone go and then they're like, are you gonna say something?
Yeah, are you noticing that?
Yeah.
right
No,
now?
but like, you know what I mean? Like I always like over explain to people because the clients that I'm working with, a lot of times it's like you have to really like not dumb it down, but you have to put it in plain language.
Yes.
So then when I'm talking to anybody else, they're like, do you think I'm stupid? And I'm like, no, but like this is just the way that I like give information now, where like I over explain and then it like going into my personal life, people are like, I get it. You don't need to. And I'm like, oh, sorry.
Yeah. I don't think it's the amount of information I give. I think it's more how I communicate. So because of my work and I have to get down every word. So you may be a lawyer and you may be listening to the trial and you may be taking notes, and that's fine. You know what someone says. Great. You can get the gist of it, and that's good enough for what you need. I need to hear every single word. Like every word has to be right. I can't miss a word. I can't just get the gist of what's happening. So interruptions really throw me off. So it's going from listening to one speech pattern, getting cut off, and then because I'm always about a second behind because I'm listening and then typing, and then while I'm listening to the next thing, right? So that sequence gets cut off. So if you interrupt and you start talking before that person's finished, I have to quickly finish what this person's thought is, recognize that you've interrupted, and then start what you're saying now. And if two people go at once, I can't do it.
Is that like a labeling thing? Like switching between two people? Like
it's just speakers. Plus, I can't physically write down what two people are saying at the same time. So I have to go, whoa.
Yeah, it's like doing two rhythms with two different hands.
And in the courthouse, it's a little bit more like the judge is there to put a stop to it. Usually they'll be like, okay, one person at a time, please. Or judges that know me or lawyers that know me. Okay, Madam Court Reporter is gonna have a fit. Like you gotta.
Is there any time where you just have to like raise your hand?
Yeah, I do. We do it all the time because and it's not to be rude, and I know that you guys get the gist of what's being argued about. But again, we're keeping the record, and the record has to be accurate. So we need to be able to hear each word. That's the difference.
And talking about the accuracy,
Yeah.
have you ever been like subpoenaed?
No.
Based on like, has that ever been a thing that you've heard of where people get like
Yes.
subpoenaed based on the accuracy of the transcript?
My boss actually was a court reporter way back when. He didn't use the machine. He was an old school pen writer.
Right.
And he actually had to get up and read back like a whole bunch of stuff. Like on the stand, he was sworn in and had to read it back because then that had to form the record because for some reason, I don't know what this...
Like a lawyer might have said like, oh, he got the thing wrong or
Something.
Yeah.
So it could happen, which is I think one of the like if you have a real court reporter there, as opposed to sending the audio out to a transcriptionist after the fact to get the transcript done, you have the like kind of the continuity of the evidence there,
Right.
where the court reporter was there, and if there was a mistake,
They would have
it's
fixed
never
it.
happened, but you could get subpoenaed. Or if something happened, I'm just trying to think of an example, just because it's never happened. So hypothetically, let's say,
It would almost have to be like manufactured, where like a person made like a dire error,
Yeah,
and
and
then
it-
tried to cover it up or something.
yeah, and it could be. I mean, if you want to talk about kind of the like the AI and the transcriptionists and like what all the differences. I'm just trying to think of a hypothetical. Let's say the question was, Ryan, would you agree with me that you went to the store, or no, Ryan, would you agree with me that your mother went to the store at 2:30 yesterday afternoon? And you say, and the answer is, I don't know. Okay, but is that I don't know?
Or I don't.
I don't.
No.
No. Like I don't agree with you.
Right.
Two different answers. Just the inflection of the voice is a little different. Like same sounding words, but it's a comma. It's
Right.
a matter of a comma and a KNOW versus NO, and it makes the answer completely different.
Right.
So now, if I were the court reporter in that instance, if it wasn't like a heated back and forth sort of testimonial style or examination style, because some lawyers use that tactic and they go rapid fire and they just
Well, they're trying. I think the idea of that is like they're trying to overwhelm you.
Yes.
And then you just break.
whatever their strategy
Yeah,
is,
yeah,
they
of
do
course.
that. But a lawyer could say, well, can you please clarify that? Like, I don't understand. But if that doesn't get clarified, I, as a court reporter, could go, sorry to interrupt, can I have that answer again, please? Or,
Yeah.
clarify it. Or I can say, can you please clarify that? Like, or,
Right.
but very, like a very, maybe I wouldn't say that. I think I would just say, can you please repeat that?
Right.
Because I don't want to ask questions that elicits more answer. That's
Right.
not my job.
Right. You
I would
just want to
"Can you
say,
please repeat
what
that?"
did you, basically,
Yeah.
can you just repeat what you said?
Can you please repeat that?
Right.
Just to get clarity. You also don't want to, I don't want to.
Step on toes.
Yeah, but like some lawyers don't mind the ambiguity.
But
In that instance, like we were talking about, like could somebody get subpoenaed to?
it's like you're on the line if something
Yeah.
goes wrong. So it's like again, it comes down to like that maturity of being able to advocate, of being like, no,
Yeah.
like if this gets mistaken, it's
Yeah.
my ass on the line.
Yeah. I would just say, can you repeat? I wouldn't elicit any further things, but I give that example because in case that there was like a big, huge fight, like the whole trial hinged on that one answer.
Yeah.
Hypothetically speaking, I could get subpoenaed to be on the stand and say, what did you hear? What did you write? Can you please explain your notes and why you put I don't know instead of I don't,
No.
period, no, period. So I could be subpoenaed
Right.
to answer questions.
Very
like that.
rare though.
I-
And I'm
it's
sure
never
the
happened to
experience
me.
level, once you get to that point, is kind of like the trust is already that you're going to be accurate.
Yeah.
I want to talk about your kind of role within social media, as well as I don't want to change gears too abruptly, but I want to discuss the idea of like you have all of this experience and it's evident that you're very knowledgeable. When you heard about, like, when did this idea of like still trying to be sort of like an advocate, or like, how would I say this, of like worrying about, you went through the program, so like where did the nature of still worrying about people going through the program kind of come to be, and like how did you kind of establish that with yourself of like, is this my problem?
Gotcha. So I've always been that kind of person. I think being an immigrant into a new country, I was always very aware of the underdog, and I've always been on the side of the underdog. That's just my personality. I'm very protective of people. Right? But when I finished school, it's a very small community. So most court reporters will know most court reporters. I tend to I'm a kind of an all or nothing person. So when I got into the industry, I threw myself into the industry. So after I kind of put in my dues, I taught part-time at NAIT. I taught their continuing ed for a couple of years. I was also part of the board. Hey, Ralph. I was also part of the board for our professional association for, I think, about 10 years. I was a president for 4.
Okay.
I think 3 or 4 terms. And I always do like to engage with students. So I take students with me. They shadow with me. When we have new court reporters coming to our firm, I train them. I help train them. Even though they're contractors, they still need to be shown. You don't want to throw them,
right?
Out there. Like,
someone needs a little bit of handheld. Hey, come with me. I'm gonna take care of you.
Yeah, and I've always had a very strong sense of, in my own mind, what's right and what's wrong. And the reason why I got into this fight, well, not, I guess it's a fight now.
Yeah,
It's a fight.
Yeah.
With NAIT is because I don't agree with how they went about this 100%.
Right.
And I don't agree with how they're still handling it. It is wrong. It's they're not being transparent, and the way they did it was so callous and shows such a disregard for their students and their teachers, and also worse, a lack of understanding of what this course is
and the requirements.
Period.
Yeah.
They have no idea clearly what happens in their own class, their own program that's been around for years, like 30
it just doesn't
years.
matter.
I'm sure it's been around for longer than that.
Right.
This course, they don't know what is being taught in the class, how it's structured, and what roles the graduates play out in the community. It's clear, but not. Oh, sorry, I get pissed off.
Yeah.
But not only is it clear that they don't know, they're not interested.
Yeah.
In learning, because we've tried. They clearly did this without consultation with any subject matter expert. There's no subject matter expert on their side. They don't know. You can tell from some of the contents of the meetings that they're just not interested. All they're thinking in their head is like, AI is going to take over. We don't need this anymore.
Right. We're going to save some money by not doing.
Yeah, but then throw in all the big words and all the talking points, but then can't back it up with any.
So what's the fallout? What do you project is going to be like the fallout if there's not something done about this? Where do you see like this career path or industry going if there's not like an institution that teaches it? Because eventually people are going to age out.
Yeah, they are, and that's one of the concerns because NAIT is the only
depending.
Yeah, was the only court reporting school in Canada. There are online options in the States. Now, I don't know what the barrier to entry is for Canadian students.
Yeah, do you have to be like a U.S. citizen or?
And how much are you going to be paying as an international student? And with the political climate as it is right now, I'm not sure how that affects post-secondary institutions, and that would include an online.
Well, and it's just like you said, it's like just a very clear like disregard for knowing the position that they take, being the only school that does this in Canada, and then being like, yeah, we're good.
But not even understanding how, like, and we may be a niche profession, but NAIT being the only school in Canada teaching the program is recognized worldwide. Like if you're a graduate of NAIT, you can get jobs anywhere. People will ask, are you a NAIT graduate?
Yeah. You almost like to diminish the credibility of every student by doing this because you're basically saying, well, why did they get rid of the program? Is the program not valuable? What, did they not do this? Do they not do that? Where it's like, that's not the case. There's just other motives that is probably a money-saving tactic or just some sort of different agenda.
Just say that.
Right.
Be transparent and say that. That's what drives me crazy. Don't blame the profession not being viable in 10 years because, I mean, ironically enough, I think there's a court reporter that went and asked ChatGPT what the future of court reporting is going to be like, and ChatGPT said it's going to be a viable profession in 10 years.
You're still going to need human oversight.
You need
even if there's a small percentage that is AI. Well, who watches the watchers? Right? And that's like that's a big thing, right? it's fascinating when institutions like this, and it's funny. It's not funny, but it's interesting you say that, because in Nova Scotia they just had to basically end their relationship with the Nova Scotia Fire School because of their basically they had an expired fire extinguisher that killed a firefighter because it blew up.
Oh my God.
And they basically told the college, like, hey, you guys got to change like what you guys are doing in the oversight. And you guys didn't do it. And like it's clear that like they brought up stats like, okay, well, like the amount of skill or like experience that recruits are coming out with is getting lower and lower, but the director of this school is taking 15% raises every year. So what's happening here?
Well, but it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like if you can make it make sense, I can work with that.
Yeah, it's like I might not agree with you,
Yeah.
but like at least you've given me enough consideration or context that
Be transparent.
I always tell people
I
at
hate
work.
that when people are not transparent. Like if it's a budget thing, say it.
Yeah.
I might not, like you say, I might not like it, and I might still fight you, but I'm like, okay, it's a budget thing. I get it, right? But when you're saying AI is gonna
Take over the industry.
yeah, and then you have a what did they had a board meeting, and all of this a whole bunch of students and professors and instructors from the courses that were paused at NAIT. So there's 18 of them. It wasn't just ours. Ours just had like a humongous backlash.
Yeah.
Like no other. Like anyways, at the board meeting they had, because it was through Zoom and it was in person, they had the AI translate the captions, and every time they said NAIT, it had it as NATE.
Nate, like the name of a
as
person.
a name, and there were mistakes everywhere. So on the one hand, they're saying, oh, well, AI is going to take over this. This is not a viable, blah, blah,
It's
blah.
like, but it's actively
It's getting over.
failing.
And then for their convocation, the NAIT convocation, they hired a live captioner
Yeah.
to caption the convocation.
Yeah, it's like when
So-
people had defund the police and then they're asking the police to come. It's like, what are we doing here?
It makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
do you, like, which one is it?
Yeah.
You know, but it's that, and I'm no subject matter expert on AI. I'm not. But if you're going to cancel a court reporting program, the only one in Canada, the one that puts Alberta and NAIT on the map worldwide, you better have a subject matter expert on court reporting and the industry on your side.
Yeah.
There is none.
Yeah.
The dean right now has only been in the position, I think, for like 6 months.
Yeah.
Since January.
It's like you're not even asking the people that are doing it.
You know, like at some of the meetings, I don't know how many times she said at those meetings, oh, I'm new here. Oh, I wasn't even here when that happened.
Oh,
I'm
that's
here.
such
What are you doing here?
Yeah. It's like even the fact that you were comfortable enough to say that is so disheartening, because it's just like, man, this is not the right way of going about things.
But then cutting off all streams of information.
And
that
then the
people are
students didn't
trying to
even know,
get
did
to
they?
you. No, they.
Yeah.
It was so sudden, and it's just. But what they're saying is, if you, like, year one has high enrollment, so we're going to keep year one. But year two doesn't have higher enrollment, so we're going to cut year two. Well, nobody gets into the program because they want to just finish that 1 year and not go into the second year.
Yeah, what are the circumstances that they're not going into the second year? Is it a job viability thing? Is
No,
it a
it's
personal circumstance?
It's the testing.
Yeah.
So you're learning a new language. In order to get from first year to second year, you have to pass
the
one
test.
test at 140 words a minute. It's difficult.
Yeah.
It's difficult. And it's not because they can't do it. A lot of students experience testing anxiety. So it's not that they're not good at the skill, but that 5-minute testing is brutal if you have anxiety.
Right.
Right? If you have testing, any kind of anxiety, it's brutal. That's the only thing that's stopping them from going to the second year. All you need is a program redesign. But it just shows that they don't understand.
They just go scrap
They
it.
just don't understand. And if they had any sort of faculty consultation, industry consultation, they would have known. But you don't have to take my word for it. Yeah, I'm fighting the program because I care. I love this industry. This job has been very good to me, and I want it to continue to be good for many people after me. To ask the consumers, lawyers are saying that, no, we want a court reporter in the courtroom. The hard of hearing community saying, no, we want a live person captioning. So the Canadian Hard of Hearing Association in Canada is a big community. They fought hard for us. A gentleman from the States who has kind of the comparable association in the States, I think it's the America Loss of Hearing Society or whatever.
Right.
Something like that. He contacted me through LinkedIn after he heard about all of my bitchings about Nate. He's like, well, let me know what I can do. I'm like, yeah, write letters to, like, we're just on a huge letter writing campaign. So they get all of this information from subject matter experts, consumers of the
associations,
the associations, all the court reporters, lawyers, like all of this. And they're just doubling down now. So they've let go the instructors. They've given them packages, and they can decide to stay on to teach the first year, which makes no sense at all whatsoever.
Yeah.
And so who's going to teach it now?
Yeah.
Who's going to teach it? And I won't say who. One of the higher ups
was like, I'll do it.
No, because they don't know.
Yeah.
Just said, basically mocked the industry support and said, oh, well, you can find someone. You have like huge industry support, don't you? So not only have they done this in a nonsensical, uninformed manner, they've now doubled down and dug in.
Mm-hmm. And now it's like, now you're just kicking me right in the face.
And so we've been trying to send them like, okay, this is what the Canadian Hard of Hearing Association is posting. And we're tagging them on LinkedIn. Can't be tagged anymore. So that's such bad optics. I can't even
such poor
describe.
leadership.
And you don't even want to hear it. And isn't Nate, I don't know, I could be lying. Aren't they like at least partially publicly funded?
Yeah.
Like these are not abusive messages we're sending them.
No.
We're just saying, hey, look what's happening. Like, look what this person is saying. They use our services. This person uses our services. This person uses our services. You're talking about the viability of the program and the industry as a whole in the future. Here it is. Why aren't you listening?
What did it feel like to put that post on social media and gain such traction?
That was crazy. I posted, it was just like a short little
Right? Yeah.
thing, and it was just like a viral audio.
And it was what, 1.4 million or 1.6?
It's like 1.8 or something stupid like that.
Yeah,
but,
crazy.
But it was the comments.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'm going to get some trolls for sure. Like, people are going to be saying, oh, well, AI is going to take over, like, blah, blah, like, no, all of those comments, every single one of them were thoughtful comments, informed comments, and comments people who are worried about what's going to come if we don't have live people doing courtroom work. And very valid.
What was the emotional feeling when you got that type of traction? Did you feel like there was more of a responsibility to keep going?
There was. I was always going to keep going anyways, just because it's summertime.
Or just like a little bit of pressure on you,
and
right? Oh, people are listening now, so I got to come correct.
I like fighting. I don't get tired of it, and especially when I feel it's something. I'm not worried about the future of our industry. I think we're going to be around for a little while yet. My biggest beef is the way that the students and the instructors are treated by Nate. And the dean, the associate dean, chairperson, all the upper level people that were involved in making this decision. That's the part that grinds my gears.
It makes sense because you're just not being heard, right? Nobody's being heard.
But it's just nobody's being heard. One, and you've wasted. So all of these first year students now can't get into second year. If I were them, I would be so mad and I would demand my money back because it's a waste of a year, rent, tuition, time, effort, loss of income.
And now where am I going to go take this course?
And now you may have just wasted their next year because you didn't tell them until they finished that first year. I'm not sure if you can still get into anything else, but the stuff that they learned in the first year is not like cybersecurity or computer programming where you can apply it to another program.
It's only for
and
this.
Finish the second year. Where else are you going to apply this?
Yeah.
So 100 words a minute is what it takes for them to graduate the first year. Who is going to spend $7,000 on a machine, $3,000 to $4,000 on the software to transcribe audio? like to not be a court reporter. No one, you don't need to be certified to be a transcriptionist in Alberta to do courtroom transcription work. Like you don't, like there are court reporters that do that also, but you don't need to be. So it's a waste of a year. So like not an apology, not like nothing makes sense. And to me, it's like the human side, right? So you have students, and I've been talking to all the first year students. Mm-hmm. One of them has gone through a lot to come back into the first year, this last cohort. She was in it like a few years back and went through some horrible, horrible things in her life and had to do a reset, had to go home, reset herself mentally, emotionally, physically, and worked her ass off to come back to this first year program, and now will not get to finish.
Yeah.
Those are the stories that gets missed in things like this when you don't listen. Mm-hmm. And not only do you not listen, you have shown that you're not interested in listening. And these instructors that you have are not just run-of-the-mill, you know how, what's the saying, like those who can do...
Those who can do, those who can...
Who can't teach?
Yeah.
Those who can't teach or something like that?
Those who can't do teach.
Yeah. Okay. So that's not the case. The instructors in this program are top of the line, excellent writers. Mm-hmm. Their skill...
And you see that with like a lot of like trades work or like vocational training, where it's like a lot of the people where you look at academia where it's like it separates themselves, where it's like you with some of these it actually takes that hands-on representation, and like it's just really too bad that people, and it's interesting you talk about this because right before you, I had a guy on, he's Dr. Farhan Chok, and he's running for city council in the Testawinawak. I probably pronounced that wrong. I apologize. But he talked about like people losing their voices, right? And the idea that like it's a motivation other than for the people. And it's a motivation either personally, monetarily, maybe it's ego-driven. Maybe they made a decision and now they don't want to come back and say they screwed up. And then, and although it would be the right thing to do, of like, yeah, we zigged when we should have zagged, this wasn't, and we're going to try to do things to like make it right. It's the idea of like, well, we can't make ourselves look dumb. So now, again, we dig our heels in, and now we double down on it. Now we just gaslight you into being like, what are you talking about? Yeah. Right?
Yeah. It's that's the part that makes me
So really what is the, moving forward, I know you have the petition. What is some other things that are being done to like gain this awareness?
Gain the awareness of what Nate did, or
or even trying to reinstate the course, or has there been any supporters that have came out and like what is going to be like, how can this be fixed besides like Nate reinstating it, like, because it seems like there might be like bad blood there, like what is the option moving forward? And what like makes sense to the actual professionals in this industry?
Well, I think the best case scenario, and I feel probably the easiest one that could have been done, and it may still be possible, is that just let the first years go into the second year.
And then get rid of the course.
And then let them finish, and then finish. Like if it's a budget thing, if you think AI is going to take over and court reporters are going the way of the dodo, whatever your stupid reason is.
Yeah.
No, I know.
But it's like
but you know what I mean.
But it's like let the people finish the course.
You at least show some understanding of what your own program is about and know that you can't cut it off. Okay, so let them finish if you want, but then don't take. They're still taking enrollment for the first year for next year.
Yeah,
September.
It's like,
why?
Why? Yeah.
Why are you doing that? So let them finish. Don't take any more enrollment if you're going to cancel the program, or take enrollment because maybe like it's a good place to show some good faith. Like if you're truly pausing the program and not suspending it because you need consultation, like you say, then let the first years continue and finish, and then make you have a whole year to make the decision. But be transparent and let the first year students know, like, hey, look, this program is under review.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
There were 40 students, 50, I think, like a full cohort, online and in person, for this coming September, that they still had. Why? So then I think the chair or the acting chair of the program sent out emails and say, hey, this is what's happening. I think they still have like 25.
Yeah, that's...
But don't take it. Like,
yeah.
Don't, like, unless they're hoping that they might reinstate the program. But let those last cohort
get them through.
Because
yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Like,
you already started it. You already took their money. You already
took
put
their
them
money.
And you put them through the course halfway, and now 50% in, you're like, we're good.
That would show some good faith, right?
It wouldn't be the overall solution, but it would definitely be a start.
It would be something. And then you have a year that if you don't want to lose face, you could take that and, okay, well, we've learned a few things, and now, we'll continue it. Maybe we'll do a probation period. Call it whatever the hell you want. Like,
right.
Whatever.
But something has to. You got to do something.
Lingo you use in that instance, but don't. You're not dealing with dumb people. We're quiet in the courtroom because we have to listen, but we're not quiet people.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
And I'm not the only one.
No.
I may be one of the loudest ones because, I have no shame in that way, and I'm not scared of confrontation.
Right.
I like to fight people like that, but it's just, can you please be accountable for your decisions?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah.
Be accountable. Everyone else has to be accountable in their lives for decisions that they make. Nate should not be excluded from that.
Especially people that are trying to switch gears and pivot into different careers. It's like you're making it very hard for people. Like this leaves such a bad, when people get screwed like this, it informs the rest of everything they do. And then the experiences that they want to have, now this is like a dark cloud on them.
No, my friends and I were joking about, like, how much is it to put a big billboard up in front of Nate that says, if you're thinking about enrolling,
don't do it.
Ask if they're thinking about cutting this program midway through. Like, how much would that be? Do you know?
I don't know. Not much.
Really?
Where can people go and find this petition?
It's on
change.org, I believe.
Change.org. We've sent the results along with hundreds of letters to Nate, so they know the results. It's ongoing. Like, I haven't put an end date to it, so you can always go to change.org and look for it.
And your profile is public, right?
And my profile is public.
E-Town Bookworm.
Yeah, that's public. So go and sign the petition. I mean, you can always write letters to Nate, and send it to the chair and the associate, the dean. Sorry, not the chair, the dean and the associate dean, to Mayor Payton and Michael McCready, I think. You can write to the education ministry. You can write an op-ed. Send it to, the Journal or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? But I think the public, just be aware of what is happening. Like, if you do end up going to court or whatever, just ask questions. Say, where's my transcript coming from? How can I be sure that this transcript is accurate?
Right.
They're not like malicious questions. They're not, like to jab at anybody.
You're just staying informed.
And I'm not knocking transcriptionists, because a lot of them are court reporters, and even the ones that aren't do a great job at transcriptions and transcript work. We have a whole bunch of areas that kind of different ways to go about the same end, which is an accurate transcript. So just ask the question, right? It doesn't hurt. We provide transcripts, but our main, we're the gold standard in a courtroom, right? We make sure things are clear. We make sure things are accurate. If we need spellings, we ask. If we need things clarified, we ask. It's just the human element. If you're a sexual assault victim and you're testifying, right now they've got it so that the audio is the official record. That audio goes down. Like, there are times where I'm doing the transcript and I'm just checking things along with the audio and chunks are missing. Who is going to ask that person to go back on the stand and retell that horrible story? Or if you're an accused, Like it works both ways. It's not just for the complainant. It's just for everybody, and to expedite the trial process. And I'm just talking criminal court now, right? For myself,
Yeah.
because that's where my experience lies.
Right.
We help expedite the process. A transcriptionist AI is not going to do that. It's just not. We went to that big trial in Coutts, or in Lethbridge for the Coutts trial. There was a gallery full of people, and on breaks they were like, and we would do readbacks like in court, like keep the judge like, oh, what did I say last? Madam Court Reporter, can you help me? Because there's a long trials all summer, and the people in the gallery were even saying like, I can't believe like how slow this would have been had you guys not been here. And we were giving daily copy transcripts so that they would have the transcripts from the day before to aid them in their questionings the next day. Right? So we're not just sitting there doing nothing.
Of course.
You know? And we're part of, we can't have the justice system without sheriffs. We can't have a justice system without people who work in the remand center. You could. Is it good enough?
No.
And then, so those are the questions you have to ask. Okay, we can do without, but is it good enough?
Yeah.
And are you willing to live with the good enough?
Right.
Like, you have to ask those questions. Right?
This has been extremely informative and very insightful. I really appreciate you coming on and talking about this. It definitely sheds a new light onto, other things that are going on, even in the same kind of bubble that I operate in. I want to thank you so much. You can follow our guest in this episode, E-Town Bookworm. You can visit change.org to see the petition. And we're going to definitely have to follow up, get you on again to see what's happening with this and see how this avocation role is working, and see if Nate actually wants to, to figure it out and kind of make things right. But only time will tell.
Well, they can call me.
Yeah, of course.
They block me. Maybe unblock me.
Yeah.
Unblock me and we can have a conversation.
And with that has been episode 49 of Solo Spotlight. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share this to someone that needs to hear it. And your support helps us get on more guests and tell more stories. And with that has been it. Thank you very much.
Thank